Tonight on The Local Game, we'll look back on the ANZAC Day clash, which had a Legends match that took place ahead of FK Belgrade and Campbelltown City's game. WNPL WSL Cup had surprises. David Grant returns with a brand new segment, and also someone's turning 40. That's all to come in today's episode of The Local Game. Welcome to The Local Game for another week of football as we get ready to dissect some of the games from the weekend and look ahead to the next fixtures. Thank you for joining us on Channel 44 or on Keko Media YouTube once again, and it's great to have you on board, whether you're a full-time football fanatic or you're a new fan to the game joining us on Channel 44 or YouTube. It's great to have you on board, and we hope to see you back out there on the weekend. Hopefully you can join us for another game, but I am very excited to be joined by a man who has a very distinctive voice and face, for that matter. It is David Grant. Mate, good to have you back on as co-host.
Thanks for having me back, Johnny. I am back here in a good behaviour bond. If I behave myself, I might get another shot.
Yes.
Thanks for having me.
You've passed and ticked the last few weeks, so you're back. But we got a lot to get through in today's episode. You're bringing a brand new segment. It's going to be fun. I can't wait for that later on in the show. I'm not going to let you do that every week, but you've got to pass this week. Let's get straight into the hot topics for the weekend. ANZAC Day was last Thursday, which we saw something special happen, which was the ANZAC Day clash between FK Beergrad and Campbelltown City. But that also meant they also put on a Legends match. Both sides bringing back some of their past players. A fantastic day down there. Unfortunately, the home side, Beergrad, who had, I reckon, 12 players on the park for most of it, and then towards the end had 14 players on the park and about 20 players on the bench, compared to 3 on the bench and 11 on the park for Campbelltown City. Lost to Campbelltown 4-1. But Michael Brooks scored the only goal for FK Beergrad.
It was great to see so many big names down there, and a nice little warm-up match for the big game after the 90 minutes were up, so it was a good warm-up match to see before the big tie.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Trimboli scored a couple of goals for Campbelltown out there as well. We had some players like Vas Parhas out there. We also had Michael Brooks, but also Robbie Saraceno, another current coach out there. Stav Parissos, the vice president down at Adelaide Olympic. Some big names that have played back in the day, back out there representing their former side. So it was great to really get behind it, and credit to FK Beergrad as well. They put on a great ANZAC Day ceremony before their main match as well of the NPL, which they do very well. And I think they're really cementing their place as the host club for that big fixture.
Yeah, I also had a little shot on camera, so it was nice to get down there on the park during the lineup and walk along the front of the players during the lineup, and a very solemn moment when the last post was bugled as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then also followed by the Australian national anthem and the Serbian national anthem. So very nice touch. Did it well last year, did even better this year. So I think it's something that should stick, I reckon. Hopefully we can put a bit of pressure to get that, because it's good for clubs to have things like that. We've seen what Metro Stars and Croydon were doing with the Indigenous game as well. So I think it's good for clubs to have their own things like this. I think it's fantastic, and I look forward to next year. But very well done, and it was great to see those players back out there playing once again. Some very sore legs, I'm sure.
Yeah, I would say so.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about some fresh legs as well. Giuseppe Bovalina has just flown off to his new club, Vancouver Whitecaps. I'm looking forward to seeing how he goes, his journey over there in the MLS. A big move for him. Hopefully it's the right move. I think it would be. And I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes for him. Yeah,
it's great to see players leaving here and trying their luck in overseas competitions. He's in some good company there. He's got Ryan Gold, a Scottish player who played for Dundee United, as one of his teammates. I think he's the captain. And then also Sebastian Berthalter, who's the son of the US national team coach Greg Berthalter. So he's in good company and big company over there.
Yeah, absolutely. And former Australian or former A-League player as well. Also another Australian, Bernie Albini, used to play for the club as well. And I've got cousins who live in Vancouver, so I've walked past that stadium when I was there back in 2017, 7 years ago now.
Lost? Were you lost?
Yeah, I got lost. I went to a Canucks game, and I tried to bypass and go to another entrance for the train and ended up getting lost. Thankfully, the police over there were very kind to guide me back and got the last train out of Vancouver. So that was very lucky. But it was great. Big stadium. So
wouldn't mind heading back over there in a couple of years. Hopefully he's still there in a couple of years. I'm going to watch him during the World Cup because I'm hoping to go to Vancouver.
Yeah.
So that would be a lot of fun. Visit my cousins and visit Giuseppe Bovalina. Well, let's move on to, we'll talk about the World Cup. Coming off the back of last year's World Cup, the hype for the Matildas was very high and they had 1,000 tickets that got snapped up very quickly, once again with the latest release for Adelaide.
Yeah, you're right. They went on sale on Monday and I think at 2 o'clock and by 2:30 they were all gone. So snapped up very quickly.
Yeah, very, very quickly. So we're looking forward to that. Going to be a packed stadium. There's going to be many new faces out there in the crowd that haven't been to a soccer match before, which kind of makes me happy and a little bit disappoints me because I know a lot of very big football fans that have followed Matilda since day one are missing out, which hurts. But it's also great for the game to know how much there is a need and want to be at the stadium.
Yeah, well, hopefully some of those new fans will get the bug and they'll go along and watch some of our local stuff, you know, the women's NPL, the women's state league, and also the women's A-League games when they're on.
Absolutely. Let's hope so. It gets them hooked on. Hopefully the kids get hooked as well. That's the main thing because that will on-flow to the family and parents. Well, let's move on and flow on to the next part, NPL, the RA NPL SA. Some big fixtures on the weekend. Some 4 draws and 2 games that were only decided by 1 goal. So a 4-3 win for Olympic and a 3-2 win for Adelaide United. Really shows how tight this league is at the moment.
Absolutely, yeah. So they're the only 2 teams that won their games. United and Olympic were the only 2 teams that won their games. If you look at the league table, I think there's only about 3 points separating Modbury in first and Campbelltown City in fifth. So a very tight competition when you consider there's only 12 clubs in that top flight.
Yeah, let's take a look at that the game on Saturday night as well, which rounded out the league, which was Olympic. They were very, very close to winning 4-1 against Metro Stars. The end result kind of flatters Metro Stars just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
But I think it's not the scoreline isn't reflective of what the game was. I think Olympic deserved to win by more because I think Metro were a little bit poor on the night for sure.
Yeah, they'll be kicking themselves, Metro, and they'll need to take a good long hard look at themselves. I think they were 2-1 down at half time and Olympic were looking like a side that was cruising. So certainly a result that none of us would have picked, I don't think.
No, none of us would have picked that, especially when it was 4-1 up. I never really would have expected Olympic in the way they've been going to be like that. But they're doing good at the moment. Stav Parissos has been on the bench the last few weeks, so maybe that's a new thing that's making it giving them an extra boost.
Yeah, possibly the biggest upset of the day. But
Yeah.
there were plenty of other upsets, weren't there?
Oh, there was. Well, we look at Adelaide City the way they're going at the moment. They're in a very. We spoke about last week with Mark. I think alarm bells are certainly ringing somewhere in the club. There's something needs to change. I don't think normally clubs go to the coach and make a massive change there by sacking the coach when there's results like this. But I don't think it's at Paul Pezos's. It's not at his cost at the moment. Like I think he's still the right coach for the club at the moment. It's just that they've got a lot of key outs at the moment.
They do. I mean, and don't forget Paul Pezos had them finishing 4th from memory in the table last year, and now they're second bottom. So it's the same coach that had them in 4th place at the end of last year. So arguably not the coach's issue or fault.
And the year before he won the treble. So it's definitely not the coach's fault. That's why I don't see that being the easy fix. I just think they're at a rough rough stage at the moment. They need to really quickly get the results back to get their confidence back.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to be a hard fight towards the end. Because everyone else is very much doing very well at the moment. That's going to be if they just lose the next couple of weeks, it could easily push them very far away from the top 6.
Yeah, they've certainly got to regroup, refocus, and get themselves back out there. I mean, I don't think they've won a game in about 5 or 6 rounds.
So they've got to be very careful. And they're not the type of club that you'd expect to be that low. So hopefully the confidence definitely will be down at the moment. But we need to try and hopefully see if they can get back into it. The next couple of weeks are the turning point for them. And the other results were very close. So the table at the moment is very tight at the top. 4 teams, just 1 point between first and the second, third, and fourth. So can't believe how tight it is at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And the draws, the number of draws that we had this week highlights that, including obviously the Beograd Campbelltown game.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, some great results there on the weekend, and plenty more results in the WNPL Cup and WSL Cup on the weekend as well. That's coming up later in the show. But up next, don't go anywhere, we'll be taking a look at the State League 1, State League 2 results as well. That's all to come on the local game. Welcome back to the local game as we get ready to talk more football here with David Grant, and myself, Johnny Keko. Well, on the weekend, it was a great milestone as well in that ANZAC Day clash. Joel Allwright getting an assist on his 400th game. Big achievement for a player like Joel.
Absolutely, massive achievement. Well done. And at the end of the game, he was obviously disappointed, but he came off looking fresh as a daisy, and he's a handsome young man, isn't he?
Yeah, he might blush with that comment. But what a great performance by him, and a great guy as well to chat with. We're chatting to him afterwards in the club rooms. Also, big congratulations to that game as well. Goes to Trimboli and also the referee Curtis Wordsworth, who officiated his 300th game, and Trimboli his 200th game as well. So 3 massive milestones combined. 900 games. That's huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's move into the State League now. The results from the weekend. Well, some big shocks there. Vipers on a roll at the moment. They got their first win last week against Playford and then back it up with a win against Fulham. From reports that Vipers in that second half probably didn't deserve the win, but they still held on to that 2-1 lead.
Yeah, they got themselves into a 2-0 lead in 29 minutes. Mateus Rodriguez scored after 21 minutes, and then Dylan Centroni scored in 29 minutes. So they were looking good at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Fulham would be disappointed with that loss because if they managed to get that win, it would have helped them get only 1 point behind the second place, the top 2, who are on equal 18 points. So that would have been a massive 3 points for them. But very disappointing to be able to lose to someone like Vipers. But for Vipers, on the other hand, that's really just closes that gap down the bottom, makes it really tight now. The bottom 4 are only 1 point apart from each other. Bottom 5 will get them up into the 7th or 8th place.
Yeah, tight competition. And this is the one league that has promotion and relegation. So you've got to look in front and behind you when you're playing in this comp. Definitely
so. And, well, there's always some great results in State League 1. I love that league. It's, as we mentioned, it's got the promotion and relegation, which makes it exciting on both ends of the table. Yep. But also Salisbury United still doing very well as well.
Absolutely, yes. So they had a 3-2 win against Blue Eagles, and Salisbury were 3-1 up at half time. Matt Taylor, the captain, had got 1, and Joshua Kay scored a brace, 2 goals. So a surprise result there. So it was an afternoon of upsets, really, wasn't it?
Definitely was. Well, let's look into the State League 2 now, where we, first of all, quickly cover on Adelaide Hills Hawks. There's reports that they've got a new coach now. They've, unfortunately, Gaz Von Duve had to leave due to health issues, but it's great to see they've found a replacement now as well.
Yeah, I heard that today or yesterday. I think it's Christian Leonardo has come in and has been appointed their coach. So maybe things will turn around for them now.
Hopefully so. They would really want that to happen because it's been a tough few years for them. But let's also look at the results now as well with Pontian Eagles. They lost to Adelaide Uni, which now gives Adelaide Uni 8 from 8. The only team so far in the 3 leagues to be able to do that, be undefeated at this point in the season. They're really cementing themselves as the promotion side this year, aren't they?
Yeah, it looks that way. They're certainly building up an almost insurmountable lead. But, we're still only eight rounds in or so there's still a fair way to go.
We talk about they're the only one across all the leagues to have 8 wins. But Jeremiah for Pontian Eagles, on the other hand, the only one to have the most amount of goals it's scored for any side across 3 leagues.
Yeah, Jeremiah Kashindi plays for Pontian. He's on 11 goals after round 8. And across all the men's competitions, he leads the goal scoring charts.
Well, we're back to being level now with all the sides playing 8 games now. We had the catch up game, which Port Adelaide beat beat the Northern Demons in on midweek game on the Wednesday night. I head down to that one last week. Did my show first and then went out to that. But it was great to see that game in action. But they were able to back it up with a win at home, Port Pirie against Mount Barker United. A big win for them and a long drive home for Mount Barker United.
Yeah, I've done that drive a couple of times in my time, and it is a long way back if you've not got a result that you were hoping for. Absolutely.
Well, the results are always exciting. Those two leagues are very interesting to keep an eye on. It's a bit harder with State League 2 to keep your eye on it because it's not streamed, so you have to try and head down to them. Or you just jump in a group chat with Alessio Carocci and you will get every bit of information.
Absolutely.
Nah, it's fantastic. Credit to him. He played on the weekend as well. Unfortunate couldn't be a part of a winning side, but I'm sure his future's very bright. Young lad, hopefully he'll be on this week, next week, back on the show. It's time to move into something else. It's a big milestone coming up for a player in the NPL currently. It's a huge milestone, 40 years old. It's a happy 40th birthday to Fabian Barbiero, still playing in the National Premier League, the top flight. A big achievement for someone to be at that age and still playing top flight football.
Absolutely. To be playing at that level, at that age, it's absolutely incredible. Well done, you. I mean, I played till I was 48, but I'm nowhere near that level and nowhere near that physicality or that level of fitness as well. So
did you do any basketball kicks at that age as well?
No chance.
No, well, we'll find out how he's made it here. That's why I have some footage of his current and past teammates talking about why they think he's still playing at this age. But big happy birthday to Fabian Barbiero. Let's have a listen to this little feature.
Went to high school with Fabian, so we've probably known each other for, close to 20 years, I would assume, and spent plenty of time with one another growing up and partying and whatnot. But always sort of when he was in that sort of professional environment, always disciplined and sort of knew that he was that sort of character to make it to the top level.
Fabian's just, he epitomises professionalism. He's such a great example to the rest of the players, just the way he goes about his business, the way he trains, the way he prepares. And also the levels he's putting out and the intensity he puts into training at the age that he has. I mean, quite honestly, you don't really see the difference between him and some of the other players, if I'm honest with you. On top of that, take the football aside, as a human being, what a great guy. I mean, he's just such a good person to have around the club, and it fits in with the culture of Metro Stars very well.
On the pitch, he's very passionate player. If you're not doing something right, he'll be the first one to tell you, but he'll still be able to tell you why, and he just wants to make everyone better and the team better.
Just a mature head, just such a lovely guy, and he just do anything for you. He knows everything about you. Like, he asks you, how's your girlfriend going? How's work going? He knows everything about you, so it's nice to know that he cares about you. So.
He's an unbelievable bloke, and every time you see him, he's very respectful, and I think he's very, very well liked around the community.
Oh, awesome! Awesome in the change room, a top pro on the field, and more importantly, just a great guy.
And I think he's probably the only one that I know now that can get away with going on holiday for 5 or 6 years over pre-season and then rocking up for round one like he's ready to go. I think he goes over to Black Point to fish. I don't know how much fishing he does, but it gets him out of pre-season. So good job, Fabes.
I think the best bit about Foss is he doesn't rock up to pre-season until maybe January, February. Spends the whole January in Point Turton trying to catch some fish. So that's probably Fabes in a nutshell. Ultimate pro, but you won't see him in January.
Don't know if it's to get out of training, but he's always doing some fishing.
No, and to be honest, he's never invited anyone either. This year I was kind of hanging around him a bit, waiting for the, Scotty, what are you doing in the Christmas break? Because he's teacher, 6 weeks off. No, hasn't come yet. So hopefully he sees this, and next year he might, tap me on the shoulder.
I have not been invited yet, unfortunately. I'd love to go.
No, he hasn't. I'm a little disappointed. You have to ask him why, but no, I think I'd annoy him too much to out there on the boat.
He was always a very good looking bloke. And every time I was around him, there was eyes turned always to him, female and male, by the way. And I remember being quite jealous of him because he's so good looking and we just wanted to be like him.
I guess with me and him, it's we've always had this sort of bit of banter about our ages, I guess. So he's obviously you know, coming up to 40. I'm 30, 31, and I'm like the second oldest in the team. But I look at him, and you know, I remember we went out one time, and there was a few girls, and they've come up and they thought he was younger than me, and it did rattle me, to be honest. And, and then I look at him and I don't see any greys, and you know, I'm looking in the mirror, and yeah, so I always talk to him about, well, what's his secret? What's he do? He seems like his body is at a better point than mine too. And I think we found the answers just foam rolling and fish. So to be honest, the first time last year was the first time I started buying a fair bit of fish and cooking that up, because I feel like that's got to be the secret. Yeah.
A big happy birthday to you, Fabian Barbiero. Big 4-0. We wished you a happy birthday from the local game. During the ANZAC Day broadcast, I caught up with Bugsy Nyskohus, former coach and player for FK Beograd, and he was currently coaching the Legends match that day. And here's a quick snippet of that chat I had with him during the broadcast. Down here with Bugsy Nyskohus, former coach and player of FK Belgrade. You're back here for the Legends match. What's it like to be back at the club after spending a few years down here, almost 20 years ago now?
Yeah, more than 20
Sorry,
years.
30 years.
30 years. No, there's good memories. I had good times here. It was tough times at the start, but we, had some good times, won the league, so it was all good memories, yeah.
You came here after playing NSL for many years with Adelaide City. What was it like playing NSL and then coming into the local league and being involved here in South Australia?
Yeah, well, I still wanted to be involved, so, I was, when I finished with National League, it's natural progression was just to coach. So I coached Adelaide City State League for a couple of years, and then I came here and, it was good.
Well, coaching here almost like we mentioned 30 years ago. I said 20 years ago because it was just before I was born, so I'm trying to make myself feel a little bit younger. But today is the Legends match. You're coaching the FK Belgrade side against Campbelltown City Legends. Some very big legends out there. What's it like to be back here and representing the club once again and being involved in something like this?
Yeah, well, it brings back a lot of memories because some of these boys here I coached and played with, and just to see them, 30 years later, sort of thing is. Some of them I haven't seen for a long time. As I said, it's all about memories, basically, yeah.
And it's been a lot of fun without. There's a few characters out there as well. You got Stav Parissos, you got Sasha on the bench as well, and a few others. Serjan, what's it like to be back with them?
We've always got characters in soccer, and the same as you're a coach, you got to treat each one differently because one character is different to another. You got to find the ways to get the best out of them, but it's all good fun. Yeah.
Better let you go because we're mid-game, so you can go back to coaching, and good luck.
No worries, thank you.
To catch up with Bugsy during that broadcast. Thanks for FSA for covering that game. Well, we're about to wrap things up shortly. Don't go anywhere. On the other side, we'll be back with David Grant's brand new segment. Welcome back to the local game as we get ready to wrap things up here on the show. Well, if you're not following us at all, well, you can head to our Instagram page, the local game, and also subscribe on Keko Media YouTube. We love to have you on board every week as we get ready for the football action from the weekend and also the ones coming up. Well, let's head into the results from the weekend of the WNPL WSL Cup. Some surprising results here. Well, the big one that I was looking forward to was the fight between a WNPL and WSL side. Two strong sides, Campbelltown City, the battle of the cities, and, a very tight one. And the winner came in the 114th minute for Adelaide City.
That's right. Valeria Guayardo scored the goal, the only goal of the match, 114 minutes in. So there's only 6 minutes of play left.
Yeah, and a huge fight from Campbelltown to be able to get that far against a side like Adelaide City. We're seeing that they look like the strong side to get that promotion in the league in the WSL. But this was a huge test for them, and I think they did well to be able to. We haven't been able to see the full game because it wasn't streamed, but based on the result and the final, that scoreline as well, to be able to hold on for that long, 114 minutes, it really shows the fight from that side.
Absolutely. You need to be a very good team to take a side like Adelaide City the full duration of the game almost.
Absolutely. Well, let's look to the next game as well. Sturt, they were able to beat Berkala. That's their first official win since going into the NPL. They got that one win, which came from the 3 points by LA Comets due to LA Comets being forfeited their match due to what some issues going on in the team sheets. But to be able to win against Berkala, who are third in that league in the WNPL, that's a massive confidence boost.
Absolutely, yeah. 3-2 win with Kurumi Saito scoring in the 93rd minute, as in the third minute of extra time.
Yeah, huge one there, and also a massive win in terms of the scoreline, West Adelaide.
Oh, yeah, so West Adelaide, they managed a 6-0 win over the Adelaide Jaguars. What stood out for me in that match was there was 6 different scorers. Rachel Quigley, Kendall Kalasha, Yasmina Yedenam, Georgia Macri, Lily DeColo, and Nicole Blackett. I hope I got them all correctly pronounced.
Well, yeah, a great. It's great when a side has so many scorers on the score sheet.
Yeah, absolutely. It's obviously a big team effort. There's no individuals there, so a big team effort from them, and well done.
Well, they're hoping to back things up this coming week as well as they get ready in the Go Sunny Solar WNPL as that returns. They'll be taking on Adelaide City. Let's have a look at those fixtures coming up. That's a big game. Those two sides near the top of the table. West Adelaide win it, they will still hold themselves at the top of the ladder unless other results will chase them. But if they lose against Adelaide City, that means they'll fall 1 point behind Adelaide City. And then Adelaide City could take the top spot depending on how Comets and West Torrens Berkala go.
Yeah, absolutely. An Adelaide City win will open that competition right up and make it very interesting. So one to keep your eyes on.
Definitely keep an eye on that one. Big fixtures this weekend. I can't wait to see how they all pan out. NTC LA Comets is another good one, which I wouldn't mind seeing. It's that from last year, that replay of the finals when they want to get some redemption, LA Comets, after getting knocked out of the finals against NTC. Well, let's move into the REA NPL SA for round 9 now as we head into that round. It's going quickly. Well, let's have a look at those fixtures. Croydon taking on Adelaide City. They're going to be remembering the LA City's first NSL coach, Edmund Kreft, in that match, wearing black armbands during that fixture. It's great that they can commemorate someone's involvement to the game in such a fixture like this.
Yeah, a nice little gesture, I think, and Edmund Kreft will be fondly remembered by many, I think, on that match and going forward too.
Some other big fixtures to look out for as well. We got Adelaide Olympica will be looking to try and get another win, but they were coming up against Para Hills away from home. That's going to be an exciting one because they're getting a bit more confidence and they're a bit more energetic Adelaide Olympics. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they can hold up against a very strong Para Hills side.
Yeah, well, Adelaide Olympic are coming off a 4-3 win against Metro Stars and they'll be on an absolute high. So it'll be interesting to see if they can carry that on into this week.
Definitely. Let's look forward to that. There's all those fixtures for the weekend. So make sure you can head out to as many as you can. Watch them on FSA Leagues if you can as well. Well, you have not come empty-handed. You've brought some little books.
I have brought some little books. I've brought my little collection of match programs from this season.
Well, that's why we've had to introduce a brand new segment, which is... Well, we had to create the brand new segment to give you some time to talk about these. A lot of collecting going on at the moment, David. Match day programs. It's an interesting one.
It is, but it's something I've done for a long time. I've got a big collection at home, and so it's good to get out here and get these local ones in my little hands.
I think it's something we take for granted sometimes. When we go to a game, we normally collect them to to cover ourselves and shield ourselves from the sun, maybe cool ourselves down a little bit. But if you actually open them up, there's some interesting facts in there. But a big shout out, though, first of all, to the local volunteers from each club that put these together. It's not cheap to print this. I've printed stuff on A4 glossy paper before, and it costs a fortune.
Yeah, and it's time consuming as well. So good on them for doing it, and they've got plenty of good information in there. Interesting little pieces from the coaches and
Costanzo in there as well.
Aye, Angelo Costanzo. And there's a lot in there about fixtures. Nora Pete, this is Adelaide City's magazine, so Nora Pete's in there. And the Croatia Raiders, nice little glossy magazine they've got too, which also includes history, as well as the league table, who they've got this round, who they've got next round.
Well, it definitely doesn't go unnoticed, and it's not only for it could be for adults as well, but they've got a kids section as well, which has the puzzles. It's puzzle time for the PHK puzzle time, which
That's
is
the Para Hills Knights
yes.
one, yep.
Well, that's what PHK stands for. Yeah.
True.
But yeah, it's great to see these type of things being put together and being creative with it as well. Not only just having starting 11 in each squad, but also having coaches' statements and all that. So
yep.
And even they got Para Hills have even got the Brassfoot section as well. So new Brazilian side that's in the local amateur league.
So we've collected 5. We've got another 27 to get.
Yep, a lot more to go, and also WNPL side as well.
Yep.
WSL, and yeah, we got a lot of collecting to do, mate.
That's it. So keep publishing them because we love them.
It's great. A great little extra feature when you head to a game. Make sure you collect them and have a read because a lot of effort goes into these each week. Well, thank you to the clubs, and thank you for bringing not only these, but bringing the brand new segment.
You're welcome.
Well, one of our favourite segments, it's Antonis Pagonis with Press for Time.
Johnny, this week I'm excited to watch Champions in May, a documentary made by Chris Adams released by Adelaide United this Sunday, documenting the events of the 2015-16 championship season. It's a must-watch.
Well, that's the end of our show. Thanks, Antonis. Thank you, David. Happy birthday to you, Fabian Barbiero. What a great week.
Yeah. Can't wait for the next one.
It's going to be fantastic. Look forward to hearing you on the weekend. Which game are you doing?
I'm at Campbelltown versus... I knew you were going to
Raiders.
ask this. Raiders,
Yes.
that's it.
You're back 2 weeks in a row with Raiders. There you go.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because I did them last week.
Well, I'll be out there filming once again this weekend, so just be easy on me. But, looking forward to this weekend. Enjoy your weekend of sport, of football, and we'll see you all again next week on The Local Game.